So that was actually a recap of what we've gone through these past 14 weeks, being as today is the Gala event. Alright, so today our group diversity is back with our presentation about CSR. So we're going to pick up where we left off, which is the future outlook of CSR. Hope you guys still remember our presentation, where we depicted 3 scenarios of what will happen to CSR in the future. Does anyone remember? Alright, so these are the 3 scenarios: the fat and fade scenario, the embed and integrate scenario, or the transition and transformation scenario. Ring any bell? Thank you very much. Okay, so allow me to give you a brief introduction about this idea. It was first introduced by Mr. Alan White in his essay entitled Fade, Integrate or Transform, the Future of CSR. He wrote this article back in 2005 and he depicted what will happen to CSR in 10 years' time, which is what will happen in 2015. So, let's look at scenario 1. Now imagine this. There's a global economic downturn where companies and countries are facing the crisis, security crisis, where interest rates are falling, share prices are falling, and MNCs are downsizing, cutting costs, losing employees. Consolidation is underway. 2 companies are becoming 1. Even less work is available. So attention of business and government turns to basic economic survival and recovery from the crisis. And with this, White predicts that CSR will move quietly into hibernation into an uncertain future. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think is the scenario that has been depicted here? Yes, it's the fat and fade scenario. Okay? So basically, White sees that in the future when there is global economic crisis, CSR will no longer be relevant at all. It will just fade into the future and be forgotten. So now let's move on to scenario 2. In scenario 2, White shows that board of directors, CEOs and top managers will no longer question the relevance and importance of CSR. They will see continuous enhancement of CSR practices, no longer just sponsoring projects, but it's integrated into the company. CSR becomes a rule, where companies actually lose out on competitive advantage if they don't do it. So, this is the embed and integrate scenario. So, White sees that in the future, companies will need to come up not only their business plan, their HR plan, where they want to start up, they need to come up with a CSR plan. So, let's move on to scenario 3, where White sees there will be new companies coming up in the future, where they will not only look at money, but value and the benefits of the community in which they live in. These are private industry, public enterprises, and social administration are what we have right now. But White predicts the new form of business will be out, which are social enterprises. They are owned by private entities, but their primary objective is social purposes. So this is the transition and transformation scenario, where companies that come up will no longer look at the bottom line of profit, but community development. Now, to better understand what is social enterprise, let's take a look at this video. Yes, so that is the future of business that Ellen White predicts. So, once again, remember my introduction where I told you the paper was written back in 2005 and he depicted the scenario that will happen a decade later. So currently we are in 2010. So let's take a look at how is CSR doing now. So what White predicted actually came true, which is in the form of the subprime crisis, where it was true that there was too over-lending and the interest rate falling, share price falling, but instead of the fad and fade scenario, CSR initiatives are still going strong, where companies are actually using it to attract more quality employees, which is something that Ellen White did not predict. And the most important is the birth of social enterprises. It is actually right now here in our community. This is an example, Leaderonomics. I don't know if you have heard of it before. It is a company that generates its revenue through training corporate leaders, and they generate a percentage of the profit to youth development, where they have training for youth leaders for tomorrow. So these are the form of enterprises that are here now, and we foresee that we'll have more in the future. Alright, so in conclusion, we can see that CSR is evolving in a positive manner, which is the more likely scenarios right now would be the embed and integrate or the transition and transformation, since we survived the economic crisis, right? So the next generation will determine the outcome of CSR, you and me. Why is that? Because if you go out into the workforce looking for companies that do CSR in order for you to work for them, then that will make companies address the issue more. If you go out as an entrepreneur and you want to start up social enterprises instead of profit-making organizations, that will change how CSR becomes in our society. So that is all from our group. Thank you very much.